welcome to another edition of Fitness Tips with Chrissy. Today we're going to be talking about the cable chop and how to do it properly. Now when you're performing the chop, there are three key things you want to remember. Number one, pre-fatigue the prime movers. Number two, the angle of the chop. And number three, the weight of the chop. So number one, pre-fatigue the prime movers. What does that mean? Basically means you need to exhaust or fatigue the primary muscle groups that you're going to be using in our cable chop, which are going to be the rectus abdominis and the obliques. Why would you want to do that? You want to make sure that those muscles are fatigued enough that you can't use heavy weight on the chop. Using heavy weight is going to cause potential damage to the back because as those abdominals are tired and they give out, guess which muscles are going to take over? The multifidi and the rotators of the spine, which are very tiny. And if you have a lot of weight on the machine, your muscles are not going to be able to hold, and you're going to potentially injure the back. So, number one, you need to pre-fatigue the primary muscle group, again, the rectus abdominis and the oblique muscles, by doing different kinds of crunches so that you have to use lighter weight when you go to the cable chop. Number two, the angle of the chop. You can see that we have the angle up high. So if the angle is high, going down this way, or if you have it low, coming up this way, the range of motion is going to be shorter. The reason for this, again, is because of the back, and you want to make sure that you're not overstressing the smaller muscles of the back. So when we have the weight up high, you're going to start shoulder height and drive down, and then come back up to shoulder height, driving down. Now, why do we drive down and not straight across? Well, if you look at the origin insertions of the oblique muscles, they're a fan-like muscle that go like this. So to get maximal contraction, we need to move in the same direction as those muscles. Arms are up, driving down. Now, what's going on in the spine here? You're not staying in a neutral position like this, or an extended position either. You need to make sure that the spinal column is slightly flexed so that as you go down, you're protecting the back muscle and putting the stress in those obliques. So, to review point number two, when the angle is high, either up or way down low, range of motion is going to be shorter. Our third key point is weight. As weight increases, the angle of motion decreases. Again, if we're going to take the weight up, we want to make sure our range of motion is shorter so that we're not stressing out the back muscles. If we go to a lighter weight, we can add a little bit of range of motion. Now, watch here as I'm doing the chop. There's no movement in the legs, no movement in the hips. It's in the torso. You want to make sure that as you're doing this exercise, the arms are not doing the motion. The motion should be coming from the core. If I do this with the arms, my core is not going to get stronger. So the arms stay stable like a bat, and you're swinging from your core. You're not swinging the arms. If you look at my core, the muscles of the core are doing the motion, not the muscles of the arms. So let's review those three key points. Number one, pre-fatigue your rectus abdominis and your oblique muscles to make sure that as you do the chop, you're focusing on lighter weight, higher repetitions. If your angle is higher or lower, again, your range of motion is going to be less, and if the angle is a little bit less, and never do a straight across chop. You always want to go at an angle to follow the angle of those oblique muscles. Finally, heavier weight means less range of motion. Follow those three key points to a safer and more effective cable chop. Thanks for joining us with Fitness Tips with Chrissy.